This is Singles Exchange. Let's talk, let's hang. This is Singles Exchange. Singles Exchange.
All right, welcome back to Singles Exchange, a podcast that focuses on conversations, connections, and community. As always, I am your host, Joy J, and we have a super exciting episode today. But before we get into that, if you're a frequent exchanger, you know the drill. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Singles Exchange on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and whatever your podcast streaming platform is. So this month is all about March Madness, and we have let the guys take over. And the podcast is no different. We're talking to the guys all month because we want to hear from the guys. We want to hear what's real, what's not. And we just want to have some for real content. So we have some guys here that are going to be popping in and out. And we're going to start with letting them introduce themselves. And we're going to hop right into the question. So I'll start with Charris since he is one of our staffers. Charris.
Hello again, exchangers. Like Joy said, my name is Charris. You saw me last time, so I don't have too much to say about myself this time. This is my wife right here, if you can see. We've been married. It'll be 5 years in October, and I'm just happy to be here with you guys again.
Oh my God, it's been 5 years. That makes
Yes,
me feel
Jay.
old. I was Calvin, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, it says Calvin, but I go by my middle name, which is Logan.
Okay.
So I am Logan. Nice to meet you all. I am a graduate of Fort Valley State University, chemistry major. I am 27 years old, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we are glad to have you. Quenton.
Hello, exchangers. Nice to see y'all. Thank you again for inviting me. My name is Quenton Gilmore. I am currently a teacher of sixth grade science in Greenwood, Mississippi, which is my hometown, Delta area. If you know, you know. All right. I'm happily married. Very recently got married to Raquel Gilmore now, my beautiful wife. I am also about to graduate in May and get my master's in the arts of teaching. So
Okay.
that's what's going on. Yeah.
Come through. And for those exchangers who follow prior to this podcast, you have seen Raquel tons of times. She was featured in our first Discourse on Dating series, and I also do a weekly feature with her for Married at First Sight. So check that out as well. And we'll have some more guys popping in later. But for now, the last but certainly not least, Mr. Paris.
What's up, y'all? Paris, I'm 31, and I'm getting married June 27th.
Yes. Big day. And we are excited. As the friend group would say, we ready. So we're gonna hop right in. The exchangers, we talk about a lot of different things as far as dating and relationships, and pretty much everybody on here has said that they are not single. But from a general standpoint, I would like to know, tell me, what are your deal breakers? And anybody can answer this. Just shout it out. Logan, Quenton, Charris. I think we lost Paris, but I'm sure he'll be back. Silence.
Deal breakers for me, hygiene, as well as not having an intellectual mindset, I guess, like not having a future, like not knowing what you want to do, not having a road or a path to follow, and just in the moment of things, just with the next fad. I don't like that. Like that's young-minded.
Yeah, having no plans. Got you.
Those are definitely good. For those of you who know me, you know that I am a church boy. I'm a minister at Mount Nebo. So if you are someone who does not have some sort of relationship with God, or at least a willingness to embrace one, that's a deal breaker for me automatically.
Big big deal breaker. I think fundamentally, if you can't agree on like something as fundamental as religion or religious beliefs, I don't think you're gonna get too far. So, Quentin, any deal breakers? Would you share with who's there? Any deal breakers?
Yeah, mine's honestly the same as Charris, as you said. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. Like if you don't have a relationship with God, that's definitely a deal breaker. But it's funny because in the past I used to be with someone. I tried to. It wasn't clear, and I tried waiting. And you can't like force change or anything. So it's like take the person as they are when you first see them, right? So that's a good. I mean, that's definitely to another question I can answer later though. But yeah, relationship with God
You
definitely for
can't ask
me.
it now. We'll take a little segue.
I'm let Paris answer first
Okay.
before I don't want to dive too
Okay,
much.
well, we'll loop back around. So, Paris, we're talking about deal breakers, which of course you're about to get married, so you're past that phase. But generally speaking, what would be deal breakers when it comes to women you're choosing to date or to not date? You gotta unmute. There you go.
Right. So, the biggest deal breaker for me is a person's attitude. Like, I mean, I know like it's a saying that your attitude goes a long way, but that's true. Like, because like who wants to deal with an attitude? So for me, that's number one. After that, I'd probably say like, if the person doesn't have like a good heart, like to me that's a big thing. Like, some people you might not know. You might think, oh, she might be the one for me, but then you find out she's selfish, or she might be pretty with an ugly heart. So that those two for me are deal breakers.
For sure. For sure. A lot of people say that if you have a pretty face and an ugly attitude, you're not gonna get far. And I think that's with anybody. Nobody want to be around a nasty attitude all the time. So before I go to my next question, Quentin, you said you had a question.
I'm not sure about Paris or Calvin, but I know me and Charris share the common theme of relationship with God was important for us, and otherwise that'll be a deal breaker. And I was
I'm
saying
glad
my
you brought that
experience
up.
before. Yeah, and I was saying my experience before was I had one experience where I was patient. I was trying to wait, and it's like I was trying to because otherwise this person had everything else I was looking for, but that relationship with God. So I was trying to see if I guess I was trying to patiently wait and see if well, it wasn't clear at first because she went to church, but I didn't know she did not have a relationship with God. So I
Yeah.
guess my question would be, how can you know? I guess you can outright ask someone, but like I guess I was trying to be subtle. I'm not sure, but I guess my question is like, how can you tell someone really has a relationship with God? I guess not just go to church, because religion and relationship are totally different. Those are two different things. And it means shares we value your relationship with God, not just, oh, I go to church or I do this.
And
But
Logan was hopping in. Go ahead, Logan.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to speak on that. Pretty much all I was gonna say is we as Christian people, we are told to be teachers. So at the end of the day, like you said, they have everything that they have that you want, but that one thing, which is that relationship with God. Yes, she went to church, but she didn't have that relationship with God. We are teachers. So at the end of the day, we have to teach that person. We have to tell that person, show that person, and let that person know about God from our experiences, what we are told and what we go through. So at the end of the day, if they have everything that you want and you're doing your job as a teacher, no matter if it's your spouse or the person you just met on the street or anything, if they're taking heed to it and learning, then you can go to that next step. But if not, at least you know as a teacher, you had that opportunity to teach that person, but they just didn't decide to go down the route in which that was godly, I guess I could say.
yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Thank you for that. Because it happened just like how you pointed out. I didn't know till after I waited a while and like we did have conversations, but this person was not willing to change. And I was like, I can't deal with that anymore. So
So Quentin, I think it's interesting that you said that because in my experience, a lot of women will like try to change a guy or, you know, try to wait it out and see if he'll become different or see if I can influence him to change or to do this differently. And we are very much taught that, you know, a man is the way he is and he will not change unless he wants to change. So we're taught not to do that. So I think it's interesting that you said that you actually tried to wait it out, because I personally have not seen that experience, but the guys on here, y'all can tell me, have you guys ever been in an experience where you met someone and you liked some of her qualities, but you kind of waited or stuck around to see if some things would change?
I don't know who want to start that, but I could definitely answer that question.
Go for it.
Just ask that question one more time, so I'll be able to answer it straight up after that, and just go from there.
Okay, so I was basically asking, have you ever been in a situation where you met someone and you were interested and she had some things that you liked and some things that you didn't like, and you kind of tried to wait it out to see if she would change or even see if maybe you could help her to change? Or is that just not a thing that guys do?
I wouldn't say that's not a thing that guys do, but that's a thing that mature guys do that know what they want and where they're trying to go. So at the end of the day, if a male knows in his mind that he's ready to settle down and start being serious about relationships, then he's going to take that seriously. But if he's not, then he's going to continue to play. So at the end of the day, with that being said, yes, I've been in situations where I've sat and waited to see if someone would change. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's in a relationship. In a relationship, you have to compromise. So there's certain things that, you know, you may do that the other person doesn't like, but it's not exactly that deal breaker. You know, they smack a little bit too loud, or you are a little bit too goofy, or, you know, just whatever may irk that person, because everybody is different. Nobody is perfect, but you can find that quote unquote perfect person for you if they're willing to compromise and do what you don't like and what you do like in order to satisfy you, and vice versa.
Nice. Shares or pairs, you got anything to add to that? Have you ever had that experience where you were waiting for somebody to change and then said, forget it?
Yeah, I've been through that, but I mean, with that, for me, I feel like that's one of those things where it's like you learn the hard way, because I mean, some people can change, but I think that it's really like unrealistic for a lot of people to change, like you said, unless they want to. So for me, it's like as soon as I see those signs, like at this point, I mean, I know I'm engaged now, but like hypothetically, like at this point, like as soon as I see the signs, because you know you get a lot of people like on social media, like, yeah, I'm like this, but that's me, and if you take it or leave it, like people they'll own up to it, but they don't want to change it. So nah, I'm not sticking around for it. I see a red flags, I'm out of there.
Big move. Share
Big
anything you
truth.
want to
Big
add?
truth.
No. Are you shaking your head now?
No, I don't really have anything to add to that one. Um, I don't think I've ever actually found myself in a situation waiting for someone else to change. I haven't had too many real serious relationships in the past. So the ones I have had, it's like it either worked or it didn't. We wasn't sitting around waiting. So
Big move. Big move. Okay. So moving on, which like I said, most of you mentioned that you are in a relationship. So the next question was, what helps you remain faithful in relationships? And this was a guy's question. So I was like, I don't know. What we gonna see?
Consistency.
Okay, Logan said consistency, and we see
Consistency is key.
anybody else. What helps you remain faithful in your relationship? Hey, Siege.
Hey, sorry for being late.
Right. And so one of our
So for me,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Joy.
No, I was
What's
just
up, CJ?
CJ. So quickly, CJ is here. He was late to the party. But CJ, do you want to introduce yourself quickly? Tell them anything that you want the people to know.
Yeah. My name is CJ. I am 34 years old. Turned 35 in like 2 weeks. I own a photography business and a sauce business as well. And yeah, single, I guess.
That's not ever. We'll get to that, I guess. But Charris, we were talking about what helps you to remain faithful in relationships. So Charris.
Okay.
For me, it's I think it goes back to what Logan said about consistency, and to take it even further, it's remembering daily why you were in this relationship with this person in the first place. Like, if I don't, you have to have some type of basis or some type of foundation for your relationship. So remembering what that foundation is helps you each day, even when that person is getting on your last nerves, which can happen often. And my wife is in the back. She probably hear me up here talking, but yes, it can happen often. But remembering what that foundation is, remember what that basis is for that house that you've built, helps you to want to keep coming through that door every day.
That's good.
Amen. Amen.
Nicely said. Nicely said. Also, from a small standpoint, it's just like you got to realize, like, the person that you committed to, one, is worth it, and two, like, nobody is perfect. So you might find like those annoying qualities or whatever, but so and so that you might, step out with or whatever, they're gonna have qualities you don't like either. It's like pick your poison. Plus, you should know what you have. Like, that's first and foremost. Like, at this point, I know they say consistency and everything like that. That's the big one. And just, I don't know, like, when you got that one. I'll say it like that. And you're not
Yes,
even gonna want to
sir.
do it. You're not even gonna want to do it.
Yes, sir.
That's one of my questions, Paris, but I'm gonna let the other guys answer first if they have anything else to contribute. But that is one of the questions. So anybody that has not answered this question but wants to, what helps you remain faithful in relationships?
Like everything that was said was really good. One last thing that popped in my head was essentially like trust. And like I like what Calvin said, consistency that helps build the trust too. So I think trust is very key. Do you trust this person to take care of you? Does she trust you to take care of her? Vice versa. It's like give and take. That's all.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Paris jumped the gun, but it's right. It's a good segue. So for those of you that have met the one, or even if you haven't met the one, how did you know, or how would you know that this is the one? This is it.
I think for me, it's just like a feeling. Like, I remember, not to sound corny or nothing, but I remember like I was in Vegas for like one of my frat brothers, his bachelor party weekend. So you gotta imagine it's Vegas kicking it, drinks everywhere, but it got to the point where I was like, I want to be with Tatiana, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, even though I know she is in Illinois and I'm in Nevada, like in that moment, I was just like, and I knew that's my little love story.
And it's dope. Anybody else? How did you know, or how would you know?
Kind of piggybacking off of that, it's definitely a feeling. I think we talked about this before, Joy. I think I found the one before in the past and I messed it up. And it's definitely that feeling like what you've built with that person, you kind of don't want to rebuild with anybody else or take the time to invest that time into anybody else. So yeah, it's definitely a feeling. You just know. You just know.
Yes, sir. CJ, you said it, my brother.
Logan, you got a love story to share with us?
Yes, just like my brother CJ said, as well as my brother Quenton. Like at the end of the day, it's a feeling. So when you know it's real, you know it's real. But at the end of the day, you also get those signs, like Quenton said before in the previous question. You get those signs, you get those different things that alert you and let you know. So like for me personally, like this is the first relationship I can really say that I'm really in love, you know, because like she does everything right. You know, there's little things here and there, you know, with the annoying things that, you know, we all talked about, you know, we may not like this, that, and the third, but that's where the compromise comes in. That's where the understanding that person and, you know, just getting over little things. It's the little things that matter, but at the same time, those little things that they respect are those things that last long in the end. So for me, you know, my girlfriend's younger than me, but she's mature. You know, she's a grown woman, even though she's younger than me. So at the end of the day, she does everything I want right. I do everything she wants done right, even though we both annoyed the hell out of each other. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you want from that other person. If they're doing what they need to do, even though they have annoying traits here or there or things that you don't like here or there, nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect. You're going to argue. If you're not arguing or haven't argued in a relationship, that's not a real relationship. Somebody's keeping something secret. Somebody's not talking about something. Somebody's not expressing themselves and their feelings. Like that's not real. So that's what I have to say about it.
Cool. And the two married people, anybody want to share? How did you know Jasmine or Raquel were the ones?
I think CJ and Calvin and Paris have said it perfectly, but just to kind of reiterate, Joy knows how I met Jasmine. I walked in the door, saw her sitting there and pulled Joy upstairs to her room, like, who is that?
Drag me.
And
Who is that?
literally dragged her up the stairs. And literally from that day forward, that feeling that I had when I literally first met her has grown. And I think for me, when I really knew it was the one was when I knew that nobody else could possibly be. Like, I don't want to put that attention that I have towards Jasmine towards anyone else. I don't see myself ever putting in the amount of effort and energy that I put into my marriage into a relationship with any other person. And so when I realized that this is it, and that if this is over, then that's it. Like, I knew for sure that she was the one. And so like, I think circling back to another question, that's one of the things that makes it easy, or makes it, I'm trying to get my words together. It makes it easy to keep your relationship going is when you realize that that person really is the one, and that you wouldn't put this amount of effort towards anyone else. And so even the small things that like Logan said, that irk the hell out of you, you accept them because that person is the one. I'm married, me and my wife are both singers. And so if you walk into our house at any given moment, you're likely to hear a concert. And my wife is a soprano, and she hums in soprano. And normally that would get on my damn nerves, but when she do it, it's okay because that's my one. And so sometimes she'll catch me just looking at it. She's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "You." Like, that's it. Like, and so stuff like that makes really kind of solidifies that, yeah, that's the one.
And before we let Quentin answer, if y'all can see Charris' virtual background, that was the day of the second wedding because they had two. And we clowned real bad that day. Real bad.
Did look, that's Bae. That Joy, is this you right here?
That
There go
is me
Joy.
right there.
And this is Tati, Paris's fiance.
Yeah, we showed out real bad that day.
Yeah.
So, but celebrating love because they're both our friends. I'm sure Charris can recall when they decided to date, and I was like, "All right, Charris, you like her? Okay, you break her heart, I'll kill you." And he kind of laughed, and I turned to Jess like, "No, we're not done. You like him? Because if you break his heart, I'll kill you. Because we all friends." So, yeah. Good times. Quentin, anything you want to share about your beautiful bride?
Uh, yeah, before I proposed to her, I made sure to pray and to make sure that was it, because like as we're only human, you know, we all make mistakes, and we can always have that self doubt. Although I felt happy as I ever been, but I could honestly say, like, I thought I was happy in the previous relationship, and that didn't work out, and I thought that was it, but I was wrong. So how do I even know that this one is right? And so I just prayed and asked God, uh, and I was just, and like they said, it was a feeling. Yeah, I was very comforted, and it's been great, and it's just been a blessing. God's really been working everything out with this and where we are and where we're going. So that's
For
it.
sure. God has definitely shown out. All right. So this is the last question for part one, and I would like for everybody to answer if they can. Um, why do you think that men don't participate in singles groups or like singles events as often as women? So typically, when you go to a singles event, you'll see like 25 women and like one or two guys. And the poor guys we just surrounded. But why do you think that that is the case? Like, why don't we see single? Because there are single guys out there. So, like, why don't we see them in those instances?
First off in my head, one, it could be pride. One, pride could be a thing. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Like, oh, you're not cool. You're not good enough to get your girl on your own, huh? You gotta go to an event, huh? You gotta be set up, huh? You can't do this on your own. Like, that's pride was the first thing that came in my head. And two, it could be like, just their guys, their own motives. You know, they probably just don't want to be in a relationship for the most part.
I think that's a great place to start. Anybody else? Why don't we see the guys as much as we should or could? Shares, you can tell us about your one singles event experience. I was there. It was awful.
Girl, I'll let me qualify this statement by first prefacing it with the I love my church. I love my church members. I love my pastors. I love all of the older ladies at the church. However, I went with Joy D. Johnson to one singles event. I walked in that mug and all it was 50 plus year old women, me and Joy in the in the fellowship hall at the church. And at that point I was dating Jasmine. We weren't married yet, but it's it that completely turned me off of going to stuff. Like, I'm not coming back to no more single ministry events, because if this is what it is, y'all can count me out. I'll find my one somewhere else. Like, this is not it. Um, and so I think it's experiences like that that keep men from coming to singles events. It's either gonna be a bunch of old women, or it's gonna be a bunch of women sitting around just dogging dudes, or it's just not, a lot of the times it's just not gonna a pleasant experience. So I think that is definitely um one factor.
I agree. I also want to add to that. I'm pretty sure everybody here went to college in some form. Y'all know how when you're the only Black person in the class and they kind of look at you to answer for the whole Black race. I feel like that's what they were doing to Charris. Like, why do the guys do this? Everybody looks at Charris. And he was just sitting there like, first of all, I got a woman. So it was really, really bad. Logan or CJ, why do you think, and definitely CJ as a single guy, why do you think we don't see the single guys at the single stuff?
One, I think just the knowledge about it and pride can play into that a little bit. But if they've never been, like, what is attracting them to go? So if there was, I don't know, if it was, not to sound superficial, but something around a sports night maybe, or something that can grab my attention to go. Because just saying, oh, a bunch of singles just meet up. It's just like, what are we gonna do there? And then for me personally, I am single, but it's not something that I think about. And I don't think a lot of guys are just like using that as a title for themselves. I think a lot of women use that more than guys do. And so I don't know, just without using the title and without kind of really, I don't know, not accepting, but kind of like, I'm single, so I got to do this, this, and this, or I'm this way, this way, this way. I don't think a lot of guys kind of just roll with that title. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of want to agree with CJ on that. Like, singleness for a man and the singleness for a woman can be two different things. Like, I'll say when I was single, and mind you, I got married at 23. So I wasn't single long. But when I was single, it wasn't something that mattered to me. It didn't matter that I was single. I'm just Charris. I'm out here living life. And so I didn't think about, and not saying that people do this, but I didn't think about singleness as being a condition that needed to be remedied. I wasn't thinking about how I was no longer going to be single. And I think for women, for other various reasons, one of which is very obvious, y'all have a biological clock that's ticking. We can have kids forever. Y'all got a certain amount of time. And so for women, singleness is something they're like, well, I plan on having children, so I need to, if I plan on getting married, I need to do it by this amount of time, or even if I'm not getting married, I need to have kids at least by this age. It's a different set of ideals that we have working. So for men, it's not the same. So a lot of us, we see singles events, we're like, whatever, I'm not going to that. I don't really care that I'm single.
So you saying we got to trick the guys? Because that's what y'all
I mean, possibly, he said a sports night.
With sports and food.
Niggas like to eat, get some food. We good.
All right, Logan, anything else you want to contribute before we end part one? Or Quenton, because I don't know if you answered this question either.
For me, when I was single, if I heard anything about singles events, I mean, I guess I would have participated. I mean, I didn't really hear anything about, singles groups or anything like that, but I don't know, for a male, at least for experience of what I've seen, if you're the type that needs, I guess, extra help in finding somebody, a singles event would be something for you. You know what I'm saying? If you need that extra help, you can't, walk up to a female and talk to them, or, see them in the streets, or, feel like, I see her every day because I go to the same grocery store every day, and I go to her and I make sure she checks me out. I don't have the confidence to say something to her. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that, would want to go to the singles event, but me, I have the confidence where I don't feel as though I need to go to a singles event, but most females that go to singles event know what they want females. So if you're a male that wants to know what they want female, a singles event would be something to go to. If you're looking for somebody for particular things, and that would be your, I guess, tic-tac-toe, finding your certain person that lines up with what you want. So that's something for a singles event as well. So, but I don't see why any male that wouldn't. Well, I don't see why any male that's looking for a female wouldn't want to go to a singles event, because that's plenty of females that are looking for somebody that may want something that you offer, that you could go and talk to somebody and you could find somebody that you may want to talk to.
All right, Quenton, any last words?
Yeah. I think society places different pressures on women and men as far as relationships goes. I think that I think that kind of plays a role a little bit. It's just societal pressures. So that makes singleness look different for men and women, I think. And two, just like you can have the confidence to go, there could be guys out there who don't have the confidence. Like, if I go this, it'll be an opportunity for me to get rejected multiple times. So I think that could also play a role. Just like you may have confidence to go, there could be some people out there who don't have no confidence to do events. And the last thing is awareness, because I can say this too. I've never heard of singleness and single events from when I was younger. I would have gone because that was a good idea. But yeah, so awareness and things like that probably plays a role too.
Agreed and agreed. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and end part one. We want to thank the guys for hanging out with us. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks from today, where we'll be doing part two, and we'll be diving in a little deeper. And I will only be here as a face. I won't be asking any questions. I'll just be here as a face. So, thanks, you guys. Let's exchange.